Welcome back to another episode of the Bulldog Blitz. Today we have an electrifying episode as we sit down with head coach of the Illinois 4A
in progress
Homewood Flossmoor basketball team, Coach JD or Tamir Disney. First things first, thank you so much, JD, for giving me your free period and letting us talk to you on the pod today. And how's that ring treating you?
It's good. It's good. I'm trying to still wrap my head around the moment. A lot of times it seems so surreal when you think about it because it's something that not only did I accomplish as a coach, but also as a player. So just being able to say you're the true number one team in the state, that's a huge accomplishment for myself and my players.
Yeah. Big congratulations on that state championship win. Obviously, we have a lot to talk about for these past 2 years at HF. So let's just dive into your landing at HF. So before we get into any of the season, could you tell us why the choice ended up being Homewood Flossmoor instead of Rich Township?
It was a tough choice. I grew up in the communities that feed into Rich Township, so it was a tough choice. But at the end of the day, I had to do what's best for my career, my family, and I felt that being here at HF was the best career move to make just because of the resources, the academics, the environment, the community, and the safety here. So I had to make a career decision, a life decision. I got a lot of flack for it, but at the end of the day, it didn't matter. That didn't matter to me because the decision that I had in mind when I made it, I had being state champs in mind when I made the decision, and at this point, it was a great decision.
You know, we imagine that sentimental value that Rich must have held to you, growing up in that Park Forest area, going to high school at Rich East, and also starting your coaching career there. I got to ask, you were quoted saying, when you look at HF, the platform is laid out, everything needed to be successful in athletics, athletic resources, academics, and environment. You can't really beat those three, and I think HF has all those three. Is this something that you think separated HF from other schools in your mind?
Yeah, no doubt. Because I think as a coach, you have to look at the bigger picture, not just athletics. You have to look at academics. You have to look at the environment. You have to look at the community that your school is in. You have to look at the feeder schools that feed into your high school. You have to look at the support and resources around the high school. So when you think about all of those things that I just mentioned, HF is right there at the top of that, or in a short list of those schools who have all of those things.
And then speaking out education, you've always known to be a big advocate for it. How do you emphasize the importance of doing well in the classroom to your players?
Honestly, just leading by example. I have an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and I'm actually enrolled in school right now to get another master's. So just trying to lead by example, letting them know how important education is to me and that I wouldn't be sitting here see if I wasn't educated, and just continuing to again lead by example and have them follow suit.
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously in your first game at HF, you actually ended up playing Rich Township. How did it feel to get that load off your back and actually beat them?
Man, you did your homework, didn't you?
Yeah, we got into it.
Yeah, that was probably the most emotional game that I've had here in the last 2 years, just because I know a lot of those kids still. I know a lot of the admin there. I know a lot of the staff there. And those kids really wanted to win that game. They wanted to beat me, and I guess kind of put it in my face that I left the better program or the better players. But thank goodness we actually pulled the game out. It was a tough game. It was a close game. It was a high, intense game. Like I said, emotions from both sides. But just glad we pulled out the win last year.
Yeah, and I'm sure that was a great debut for you with Homewood Flossmoor. And then after that game, you went on to go 18-14 in your first year. And it was a very memorable year for a couple of reasons. But speaking on your regional loss in losing 71-41 to St. Rita, you speak on that game at all? How did that feel? What was kind of the reaction of the players afterwards?
I think their reaction was, all right, it's time to get in the gym and get better because we don't want this to happen again next year. So I think their reaction was actually pretty good. I think that we chalked that loss up to letting about 3 games go during the regular season that we shouldn't have let go. One was Lincoln Way West buzzer beater. We lost to St. Lawrence at the buzzer, and we lost to Hillcrest by 2. So I think if we win those 3 games, now you're not the number 5 seed in the sectional. So now you wouldn't have to play against the number 1 team in the sectional. So we kind of chalked that up to letting those 3 games slip. We knew that St. Rita was the superior team to us last year, but we still want to go out there and fight and just show that we're coming together and this group is coming together. But again, that loss to them, I want to put that on the 3 losses that we had at the during this regular season, because if we win those 3 games, now you're talking about the 3rd or 4th seed overall, which now you wouldn't have to play the 1 seed until about supers.
Yeah. And clearly, like you said, your guys just wanted to get better for the next year. And clearly you and your peers took a really big step towards the basketball program going into this season. As many new faces like Johnny Cobb, who came from Perspective High School, who's committed to Columbia, Bryce Hurd from Montverde, and originally Kenwood, who at the time held offers from Kansas State, USC, St. John's, and then another big man in Mac Hagemaster from Lincoln Way East. Although you had to bring a lot of big guys, was there a little AAU chemistry that showed at the start of this season from Johnny Cobb and Mac Hagemaster?
Yeah, they're pretty close. They're pretty close, and I think that allowed them both to be comfortable with the transition, because all of this has been new to both of them, not only the school, but the environment, the community, and also how I do things on a basketball court. So I think that they did a really good job of just helping each other out. And when things got tough and when things got unfamiliar with them, I thought that they did a really good job of banding together and figuring it out together.
And then you've always been known for implementing a fast play style, both on offense and defense. Was this something that attracted some of these guys to your program?
Yeah, I think so. I think these kids in this generation now, they want to play fast. Every game that they watch, no matter if it's college, NBA, professional, overseas, whatever the case is, they're playing fast and they're running a lot of pick and roll. So we want to run an offense and a defense that translates to the next level and help kids get prepared for the next level, because that's one of our I think strengths as a coaching staff, is that we get all of our seniors signed somewhere. It's my 5th year as a head coach. I've never had a senior who wanted to play college basketball who wasn't able to. We always found a scholarship for our seniors, no matter if it was Division I, Division II, NAIA, or JUCO. We found a place for them to go to so they can continue their dreams and their careers. So, again, that's huge for us.
Yeah, of course. And going back to, again, you said how guys like Carson Brownfield and Jaden Tyler, they were on that first-year team that when you came to HF. How were they able to be leaders and welcome these 3 new guys to the team?
I thought they both did a really good job because if you look at our stats, both of their numbers dropped by about 3 points. So I thought they did a good job of staying humble when their numbers weren't called. I thought they did a good job of trying to get the new players to kind of understand how we do things here at HF. I thought they did a good job focusing on winning more than they did on their individual accolades. So hats off to those guys. They were huge all season for us. They've been huge for me the past 2 years. And Jaden Tyler has another year that I expect him to be one of the best players in the state of Illinois.
It's great because I'm sure they had your assurance as well. You know, you've been coaching Tyler at the Mean Streets level as well, so he knows that, you know, he can trust in you and what's best for the program. And so coming into year 2, you know, this is the meat and the potatoes of the interview, the good stuff right here. You know, you guys were one of, if not the most hyped team in Illinois. You know, you were working hard after that loss in the regional round, and you were ready coming into the next season. What were some teams you had circled on the calendar?
Bolingbrook, DePaul Prep, Rich Township, Bloom, Hillcrest. Honestly, the entire calendar was circled. We wanted to just go out and prove ourselves to any and everybody. We played, I think we only had 6 home games. So we wanted to get on the road, play against the best teams in the state. No matter where it was, we wanted to play against them and prove ourselves and not prove ourselves. And I think the boys did it. So if you want me to be honest, the entire schedule was circled. This was, quote unquote, the redeem year. We wanted to kind of redeem ourselves and redeem the HF basketball program. And I think we did a good job of doing that.
Yeah, of course. And just like you said, you had guys like Thornton on the calendar, Bolingbrook, DePaul College Prep. You were actually able to beat Thornton 2 times, 53-52 in the first one, and then 65-63 with a nice buzzer beater from Johnny Cobb. What a moment that was. And you were also able to beat DePaul College Prep 57-46. Were there any like big moments that stood out to you this year? Like, what were your favorite moments?
All year, my favorite moments were when we were down and everybody in the stands thought the game was over and thought we would lose the game. And the guys banded together and they pulled the game out, like the DePaul Prep game, like the Thornton game, like the Curie game. Just seeing those kids fight through adversity and stand together and pulling out wins. I think those are my favorite parts of the season. I use resiliency, I use resiliency the entire year to describe these guys, and I really meant it. Their attitude, their mindset, their focus was very resilient throughout the entire year.
And then you alluded to Bolingbrook earlier. Every time you played each other, it just proved to be a great rivalry. You know, you split the series there, winning 80-46 in the first game and then losing in a close one, 65-63 in the next. How did that loss kind of improve the team, give them some lessons heading into the playoffs?
Yeah, that was our last loss of the season, that Bolingbrook game, and it came on a senior night, and we are a senior-led team. So it hurt. It hurt our guys. They went to the locker room, and they were actually very upset about it. And I tried to just calm them down, let them know that the main thing is the main thing, and the main thing is to win a state. So we have to stay focused on that. The next practice we had after we lost to Bolingbrook, it was an elite level practice. So going into the playoffs, I was confident.
Yeah, just like you said, you're confident heading into these playoffs. You know, where it's all really matters. It's backs against the wall, win or go home. Did you guys prepare in a different way? Or just like you said, you guys took your practice to another level in those playoffs?
Yeah, what we tried to do was once we started playing games on the college floors, we tried to actually practice as much as we can on the college court just to get prepared. So we went to a few universities that surround the south suburbs, and they allowed us to practice on their floors and get ready for the playoffs. But I think our main focus during the time at practice was the same. Like, we didn't change anything throughout the year. Our basketball is our basketball, and we try to play our basketball no matter who we're playing against, no matter where we're playing them at. And
then y'all were able to cruise past Stagg, Joliet West, Bloom in those initial rounds of the playoffs, and then
I wouldn't say cruise.
Hardest, yes, yeah. Bloom 61-50. You know, then comes Curie. You know, that might have been the hardest challenge of the season, easily the biggest game of the year so far for you guys. Big game. Cobb dropped 22 in a 60-58 win. What was it like playing against the familiar faces like Will Gonzalez and Carlos Harris? You know, and just what was the meaning of this playoff game alone to the players?
It was fun. It was fun because I know the players over there well. They know our players well. I actually know the head coach over at Curie well because Mike Oliver runs Team Rose AAU team, and I was the head coach of 17U for the past 3 years before I took the Mean Streets job. So I'm very familiar with Mike. I'm very familiar with the players who played at Curie, who played on Mean Streets and played on Team Rose. So it was fun. It was fun to play that game. It was fun to be in that environment and watch our kids battle. But now it's even more fun that for the entire spring and summer up until next year, I have bragging rights. So excited about that.
Yeah, of course. You know, obviously, like you said, they had a really strong team. They had a strong coach. Did you and your team kind of treat this game at the moment like it was the state championship game?
You know what? If you look at all the quotes I did when the playoffs started, we treated every playoff game like it was a state championship game. We wanted to make a statement each game. We wanted to be focused each game, no matter who we were playing against. So you can actually go back and read all the articles from the day one of the playoffs when we played Lockport. I got interviewed after that, and I was like, that was a state championship game. And then they said, well, what's next round? And I said, a state championship game. So we try to treat every game like it was a state championship game so we can actually make it to the state championship and have some success there.
And then finally, talking about that state championship game versus Normal. This last question here as we want to wrap it up. You know, you got places to be, so thank you for this great interview. But talking about it, 60-48 win over Normal. How did you guys treat this game? Did you prepare differently? And then also, just can you give us a rundown of how that day went for you, waking up in the morning to when the final buzzer went off and the celebrations that ensued afterwards?
We woke up preparing. We had breakfast. After breakfast, we watched film. After film, we went to shoot around. And we came back to the hotel, got some rest. Then we went to the gym. But at practice and at shoot around, we definitely prepared differently. We actually changed some schemes that we normally do. We played a lot of zone against them, but we actually packed the zone in to prevent them from being able to use their size advantage over us. They had 6'10", 6'10", 6'8", 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". So we just tried to pack it in a little bit and use our athleticism and speed to beat them.
Well, great. That's great insight. Yeah, I mean, you referenced their height. I mean, they had Jaheim Weber, Wright State commit, and just so many big guys there that definitely must have been tough playing them in the paint. So it was great to kind of source that ball around Johnny Cobb and let those guys make plays on the perimeter for the guards.
And hats off to our guys because they had a significant size advantage over us. But when you look at the box scores at the end of the day, the rebound totals were tied 34-34. So that just tells you how much our kids battled through adversity and battled through their height advantage and just did everything they could to pull out the win.
Yeah, it was so obvious that you guys had one of the most hardworking teams in the state, if not the hardest working team. You could watch. We saw it in all the film that we watched throughout this year. But that will wrap up our interview. Thank you so much, Coach JD, for joining us on the podcast today. We see you got some movement in the classroom. So, yeah, thank you so much. Hope you have a great rest of your day and enjoy that ring.
Same to you guys. Let all the Bulldog fans know that I am a Bulldog supporter. I'm a huge fan of Mr. Holdren. I'm a huge fan of Coach Mike. So you guys got some great things going on there yourselves. So embrace those guys because men like those two don't come around too often. So embrace them.
Well, thank you. Hopefully we'll see a Homewood Flossmoor RB matchup in the future here in the playoffs.
Y'all don't want that. Y'all don't want that problem.
All right. Take care, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Go!